Hey everybody, it is me, Vincent. Welcome back to VincentVision. Watch how. This video is an Epic Universe field guide. I want to share with you guys the most important information that you are going to need to know to start your day here at Epic Universe. I want to give you guys the lay of the land, showing you guys where some important things are in the park, like first aid, guest services, Starbucks, share my opinion of rides and experiences that you should try to prioritize in the morning, and of course, try to figure out how to get a virtual line for Harry Potter in the Battle at the Ministry. So let's start this video off right here at the front of Epic Universe. We are looking at the Kronos, the entrance to the park where everyone's adventure starts. And there are some pretty big points of interest right here at the front of the park. If you look towards the left of the Kronos, this is where you're going to find Lost and Found, rentals, and lockers. This building here is where guests are able to rent scooters, strollers for the day. This is also where Lost and Found is. So if you've lost something on a ride or in the park, you can come here at the end of the day and see if it's been turned in. This is also where some of the day lockers are at Epic Universe. If you've got some big bulky bag that you don't want to carry around the park, or you want a place to drop off all your souvenirs, there are some lockers here at the entrance of the park. You go down this little pathway over here and it leads to a small room with some of the day lockers. There's actually a few more lockers available in the park that I'll tell you about in just a little bit. But heading back to the Kronos, if we head towards the right, this is where you're gonna find VIP tours, guest services, and first aid. If you are one of the lucky guests doing a VIP tour at Epic Universe, this is where you will enter to check in for your tour. Next to it is where you'll find first aid. This is one of the two first aid locations in the park. There is another first aid location located in the back of the park near the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Helios Hotel. And then next to first aid is guest services. This is just like your guest services at the other parks. They're able to assist you with ticket issues, concerns that you may have in the park, talk to you about accommodations. This is the main guest services area here at the entrance, but what's really great is that they have actually created 4 different guest service kiosks all throughout the park. So whenever you have an issue or something that needs fixing, you don't have to go all the way to the front of the park anymore. Each of the portals have a guest service kiosk near them. So there's one near Isle of Berk, there's one near the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, there's one near Dark Universe, and there's one near Super Nintendo World. These are all staffed by guest services team members, and they'll be able to help you the same way someone can help you at the entrance. So there's no need to go all the way back to the front of the park. You can also find more lockers at these guest service kiosks. They're located in the back of the kiosk. This is where you'll also find the fuel rod locations. So if you're someone who uses a fuel rod around the parks, this is where you'll be able to get a new one or replace it. Once you walk through the Kronos, you are in Celestial Park. In this area of Celestial Park, just like all the other theme parks, is where you'll find your big gift shops. But I know when I start my day at the theme park, I need to start it with some coffee. And this is where you are going to find Starbucks. There is a Starbucks here at the entrance of Epic Universe, located on the right-hand side. This is an indoor location, so you can go on in, queue up. Very pretty inside here. And what's actually really great is that they're selling an Epic Universe exclusive Starbucks mug. Starbucks usually has something like this for like all the theme parks and places you can visit. There is one for Epic Universe. So if I were you, I'd buy one of these and then put it in a day locker right here at the front of the park. Now, something that makes Epic Universe so epic is the fact that there is not one, but 2 Starbucks locations in the park. So you've got the one right here at the entrance, but there's actually one more a little further back towards Dark Universe. So if you are looking for a midday pick-me-up, you don't have to head all the way back to the front of the park like you would over at all the other parks. You got one right here in the back. Very smart move, Universal. On the topic of starting your day right here at Epic Universe, if coffee and small bites isn't going to be enough, you're probably going to be looking for breakfast at the park. Right now, there are 2 locations at Epic Universe that serve a sit-down, quick service breakfast. The first is Oak and Star Tavern in Celestial Park, and the second is Café L'air de la Sirène in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I have not gotten to have breakfast at these 2 restaurants, but I have had lunch at them, and currently, Oak and Star Tavern is probably my favorite quick service restaurant at Epic Universe. If the breakfast is as any good as the lunch, you're in for a good time. And right now too, I'm not aware of any breakfast packages that the park is selling. Over at the other parks, you can usually buy into a vacation package that includes Harry Potter as a breakfast location. We haven't seen that quite yet for Epic Universe, but that could come in the future. Who knows? So we've gotten our Starbucks, we've gotten our breakfast. It is time to truly start our day here at Epic Universe. Morning time is going to be crucial to your theme park visit. The earlier you are at Epic Universe, the better, because there are certain rides and experiences that I think you should try to prioritize at the start of the day. Epic Universe will be doing early park admission. So if you are a Universal Hotel guest, you will have 1 hour early access to Stardust Racers and Super Nintendo World. Out of the 4 rides that are available to you during early park admission, the number 1 priority, in my opinion, is Donkey Kong's Minecart Madness. And that's for a couple reasons. The first one is that this ride is going to be very popular. Super Nintendo World in general as a land is going to be incredibly popular, and this here is the roller coaster of the land. It's just a very visually appealing ride. It looks really great. It's good for families. It's a really great way to start the day. The thing is though, Minecart Madness does not have Express. So even if you're staying at Portofino Bay or the Hard Rock Hotel, you will not be able to skip the line for Minecart Madness. And I am expecting this ride to be one of the most popular rides at the park. It'll also have a naturally long line as well because it's a really small ride vehicle. You know, something like Stardust Racers is going to be a pretty popular roller coaster, but the train itself can hold so many people that is going to be a big people eater if the ride is running smoothly all day. So I would say unless you're like a big roller coaster junkie, you don't need to go straight to that ride. You can wait till the afternoon and get it at a reasonable wait time. Same thing with Monsters Unchained. I think a lot of people are naturally going to want to rope drop Monsters Unchained because it is one of the big rides at the park. But this is a ride too that if you give it some time, hit it later in the afternoon, you're going to get a much more reasonable wait time. Now, of course, how early you get there factors into how long you wait for the ride. If you are one of the first people at rope drop, you can pick whichever ride you want to go to and you're going to be on the ride in 5 to 10 minutes. But I do think Donkey Kong is a ride that's just going to have a long line all day because of the ride system. So assuming that every ride is running smoothly with no issues, Donkey Kong is still going to have a longer line than most rides in the park. So in my opinion, if you are able to do early park admission or you're doing rope drop, you're one of the first people in, as soon as they let you in, you should try to do Donkey Kong first. Now, if you are trying to get to Donkey Kong a little bit faster than everyone else, I want to show you some other ways to get into Super Nintendo World. Because the way the land is set up, as soon as you enter the portal, you immediately get put onto 2 slow-moving escalators. So right at the start of the day, when everyone is rushing that area of the park, it can get pretty congested very quickly. So instead, I want to offer you an alternate entrance to Super Nintendo World, which is actually right next to the portal. As soon as you walk into the portal, take an immediate right, and you are going to get led into a tunnel that takes you to a secondary entrance into Super Nintendo World, where you have multiple elevators and a flight of stairs that you can go to start on the second level of Super Nintendo World. That's a really good way to avoid the escalator if you're claustrophobic and you don't want to get mushed in with a bunch of people, and also get you into the land a little bit faster. There is a third way as well, and this could work if you are going straight to Donkey Kong. You could also try going in through the exit of Super Nintendo World. In between the portal and the Super Nintendo store is the exit for Super Nintendo World. If you go this way, you are starting on the first floor of Super Nintendo World, which will give you a straight shot to Donkey Kong, giving you a big head start. Now, there's 2 things to think about when you try this entrance. One, you are going to lose the wow factor of entering Super Nintendo World. It's like going to Diagon Alley and not going through the brick wall for the first time. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. If you have some first timers and you really want to impress them, you really do lose a special moment. And 2, this is designed to be the exit of Super Nintendo World. So I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to go this way all the time. If the park is expected to be very busy, they might have crowd control measures in place, and team members might not allow you to go in this way. So there is a possibility that you might get turned away. If that happens, there's nothing you can do. You just got to go through the normal way with everybody else. There is another ride you could try to prioritize in the morning, and this is really more of a strategic decision. This is more for like people who are just trying to complete all of Epic Universe and they're going to try to ride everything. It's Dragon Racers Rally. This is a flying ride in Isle of Berk, which is honestly kind of a simple ride. I don't think it's going to be a big priority for a lot of people. but it also does not take Express. This, like Donkey Kong, is a very slow loading ride, so it's very likely that if you decide to do this ride later in the day, it might have a longer line than you're willing to wait for. So you can try to knock this out at the start of the day and wait 10 minutes, or you could go later in the day and wait 45 minutes for a ride that maybe might not be worth that long of a wait. Now, as far as rides go, that to me is the big priority. There are some other experiences at Epic Universe that I also think are worth trying to do at the start of the day. Another big one is over at the Isle of Berk, and this is meeting Toothless the Dragon. This character meet and greet has taken the world by storm, and it is an awesome experience. It is probably one of the coolest meet and greet character experiences you will ever have. Toothless is adorable, Toothless is impressive. Toothless does not have a way to skip the line, and this line can average anywhere between 45 minutes to 60 minutes, sometimes even more. If you know that you want to meet Toothless at some point during the day, knocking this out as early as possible is not a bad option. Heck, you might even want to try to rope drop the Isle of Berk so you can be one of the first people there to get in line and meet Toothless. And based off my personal experiences with it, there is one more thing that I would recommend trying to do early as well, and that is the power-up band challenges at Super Nintendo World. These are the interactive games that you can play as you spend time in Super Nintendo World. There are 4 or 5 mini-games in the land that you can play to earn keys. Once you get enough keys, you can do the power-up band exclusive Bowser Jr.'s Shadow Showdown. The only way you can have access to this is by getting those keys throughout the land. And at the start of the day, the lines for these games are going to be virtually non-existent, as opposed to later in the day where they will get much longer lines. So if someone in your family is super excited to spend time in Super Nintendo World and is trying to get the full experience, those power-up bands are a part of that. And I would rather play those games in the morning versus playing those games at 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. when the sun is beating down directly on you. All those games are outdoors and there's like no shade, by the way. So I would rather do those with the morning sun versus trying to do it in the afternoon as the sun is beating straight down on me. These games are a big part of the Super Nintendo World experience, so if you are looking to see them with as little of a wait as possible, doing it at the start of the day is also a great option. Now, there's one big ride in the park that I have not mentioned and we should definitely talk about, and that is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. This is the big Harry Potter ride in the park, and currently, the only way you can access it is with a virtual line. So let's go ahead and start talking about how to get a virtual line for Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. So first things first, in order to get a virtual line, you are going to need the Universal app. You have to download it if you want to ride. Once you do have it downloaded, when you're in the park, if you go to your profile page, the virtual line button should pop up. It'll take you to the Battle at the Ministry page, and this is where the virtual lines drop. So officially from Universal, there are 3 drop points throughout the day. There is 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. But there are chances for random drops throughout the day to happen as well. I have heard stories of people getting virtual lines as early as 10:45, and I personally have gotten a virtual line at 8:45 p.m., 15 minutes before the park closes. So they do drop them randomly, and unfortunately, you're just gonna kind of have to be on your phone all the time to see if you get lucky. Right now, that's just the game that we have to play. On the day that I was recording this video, I actually tried to get a virtual line to show you guys, and I'll just say that I was unsuccessful until the end. This is me trying to get a virtual line time at 3 o'clock. What I've learned that you need to do is stay on the page. You don't have to refresh. You don't have to do anything. When you are on the page at 3 o'clock or 11 o'clock, the blue virtual line button will update on its own. It'll turn blue, you click on it as fast as you can, you pick how many you have in your party, and then you pick a time that's best for you. Honestly, just grab whatever time you can see. You can't be picky because the millisecond that you try to use to make a decision is going to work against you, and then you're not going to get the virtual line. This is me failing to get the virtual line spot for one person at 3 o'clock, okay? I don't have any advice for groups bigger than 2 or 3 or 4. You guys, I'm sorry, but you're on your own, okay? This virtual line system is pretty vicious right now. I then tried again at 6 o'clock, and the same thing happened. It automatically updated at 6. I clicked it, and they were all gone before I could get the chance to pick one. But luckily, like I mentioned, I kept checking the app. And then like 15 minutes before the park closed, I was actually able to get a virtual line spot, and I rode the Ministry ride at the end of the day. So you may have a chance to ride this ride, but unfortunately right now, I would also maybe go into the park expecting not to ride it. I really don't like saying that in this video, but it is true. Maybe in the future, if the ride is running more reliably, it's running more smoothly and efficiently, it'll be easier to get virtual lines. But right now, as of recording this video, it's pretty hard, and I know a lot of people personally who have visited Epic Universe who have not been able to get it, okay? So don't let it ruin your day. The park has a bunch of wonderful, amazing experiences that aren't the Battle at the Ministry. Maybe it's just something you have to come back to the next trip. I'm so sorry. But you know what? Let's not worry about Battle at the Ministry. That is its own thing. Let's go back to the rides that you can do at Epic Universe without a virtual line. If throughout the day, these lines are starting to get a little longer than you feel comfortable waiting for, the really great thing is that a lot of the major attractions in the park have a single rider line. And if you're willing to give up seeing certain show elements like the queue or pre-show, you can get onto some of these rides really fast. For example, let me just go down a list of rides that have single rider lines. Mario Kart has single riders, Donkey Kong has single riders, Monsters Unchained has single riders, Curse of the Werewolf has single riders. So boom, right there, those are some rides in the park that have single rider lines that you can use to get on a little bit faster. And there are some other rides in the park that have single rider lines that they are not using yet. Stardust Racers has a single riders line, Hiccup Swing Gliders has a single riders line, and Battle at the Ministry also has a single riders line, but these rides have not been using their single rider lines during previews. So I wouldn't try to plan my day around using the single riders lines for those because no one's been using them yet. So now that you've powered through the morning and got through some essential experiences, it is time to have some food at Epic Universe. Where should you eat? Luckily for you, there are a lot of wonderful restaurants at Epic Universe, and dare I say, now that I think about it, probably some of the best quick service food at any Universal park exists at Epic Universe. I'm gonna give you some of my personal favorites that I've really enjoyed at the times that I've been able to visit. The first is Oak and Star Tavern. I think that's my favorite restaurant at Epic Universe. This is a barbecue-based restaurant with a lot of really great dishes. I also love the Mead Hall. This is the restaurant in How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. A lot of really great savory Viking dishes, including one of my favorite plates, the Berserker Viking meatballs. This is basically like IKEA Swedish meatballs, but there's this really tasty vegetable-based potato mash that goes alongside it that is just so good. There's also Spitfire Grill, which is a window service restaurant. Here you can get some very delicious steak, chicken, shrimp bowls, and over in Celestial Park as well, there is Pizza Moon, which is the big pizza restaurant in the park. They have a lot of really great, tasty pizzas. They're all made fresh for you. Honestly though, all of the restaurants at Epic Universe are pretty fantastic, so whichever one you decide to go to, I'm sure you're gonna find something you like. And speaking about things that people like, there are some pretty viral snacks at Epic Universe that are kind of taking social media by storm that I also think are worth trying out while you're there. The first one and the most popular is the mac and cheese cone at Grog and Gruel at the Isle of Berk. There are 3 different versions of the mac and cheese cone. There's your standard mac and cheese cone that has some goldfish crackers on top of it. There is a Nashville hot pulled chicken one, and my personal favorite, the PB&J. This is pork, bacon, and jam. Pulled pork and mac and cheese is such a delicious combo. I love this snack. It is super popular, so try to get there early because I promise you, you will be waiting in line for this food. If you're looking for something sweet to match the savory of the mac and cheese cone, there is the Butterbeer Crepe in Café L'Air de la Sirène. Universal loves butterbeer, and this is another great butterbeer flavored dish. The crepe can be pretty big as well, so you can end up sharing this with someone if you'd like. The butterbeer crepe is only served inside Café L'Air de la Sirène though, so you will need a table to order. But I can give you a little hack. If you don't want to wait in line to get an indoor table at the restaurant, you can sit at the outdoor tables on the street and order your food from there. And then over in Dark Universe is the Burning Blade Tavern. This is a bar in the back of Dark Universe, but they have some really great small bites, including the garlic steak, which is basically a long breadstick smothered in garlic. It is super tasty, it really hits the spot, and it comes with this great red garlicky dipping sauce. So for me, those are like the 3 best snacks that you could get at Epic Universe right now. But if you've been to the park and you know some better ones, leave a comment down below. I would love to see it. I'm trying to create like a snack list. Now, after a full day of fun at Epic Universe, the sun is starting to set, and I guess it's time to go home, right? Wrong. Do not leave the park before nightfall, okay? Epic Universe is a wonderful, beautiful park, but it becomes 100 times better at night. So I would recommend absolutely staying till the park closes. Even if you've done it all theme parks take on a second life at night. There's a whole bunch of lighting and special effects that you don't get to see, but Celestial Park, the main area of Epic Universe, truly shines, no pun intended. This area of the park has over 1 million lights built into it, and you will see them all lit up. In fact, there are certain rides and experiences that change at night. The Constellation Carousel during the day is kind of your standard carousel, but it really becomes its own standout experience at night when it's all lit up. And even Stardust Racers has a nighttime exclusive soundtrack that you can only hear once the sun has set. And of course, how can you not experience the Dark Universe at night? This area of the park is incredible at night, and it's just like, oh, it's just so perfect. I don't even know what to say. Now, on the topic of nighttime shows, there are some things to kind of wait for at the end of the night. Currently, all we know of, Epic Universe has fountain shows. Now, currently, as of recording this video, I don't think we have any fireworks shows planned for the park. Instead, there are multiple fountain shows themed to the different worlds that goes on continuously throughout the night. On a day that I was there, they actually played all of the fountain shows in one go. So you could sit there for 15-20 minutes and watch a bunch of different fountain shows go off. They are very beautiful. It's very reminiscent of something like the Bellagio water fountains in Las Vegas. The water shoots up super high in the air. There's some iconic music playing from all of the lands that you've experienced. It truly is a beautiful way to end your day at Epic Universe. But apart from that, that is all I've got. Those are, in my opinion, the essential things to know and think about when you visit Epic Universe. Thank you guys for watching another VincentVision. I hope this video helps you when you visit Epic Universe. How exciting is it to visit a brand new park, right? We've got a lot to explore and a lot to learn. If you are looking for more Epic Universe content like this, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel because you will find it there. Thank you guys for watching another VincentVision, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.